All right, Adam, practice number 7, and the first time we had a chance to see these guys practice today. What were your impressions? We said we were going to analyze the heck out of this thing, so obviously pretty vanilla things like that. What were your impressions?
Well, I thought overall, if you were going to pick a side of the ball that was a winner of today, I would go with the defense. Even some of those plays that were made by the offense that were big plays downfield and passing game, you kind of question, okay, if Brendan Lewis is live back in the pocket, is that ball getting to that receiver? But yeah, no, it wasn't anything outstanding on either side of the ball. But I would say the biggest takeaway I had was the young cornerbacks that Carl Bell said, hey, we got another group of those guys in here. That showed itself out there. There were a lot of pass breakups. Nico Reed started the whole scrimmage with a pass breakup. And it was actually a converted quarterback, a walk-on, Jordan Fullerton, that had one of the most impressive defensive plays of the day. And Roller kind of lit up when he was talking about that. Just a nice play by Jordan Fullerton out there. Joshua Wiggins had a nice scrimmage, his first scrimmage here at CU as an early enrollee. So that stood out to me. As well as I thought the defense played at times this year, when you start looking at some of the depth pieces defensively, it really makes me think that's the side of the ball with these transfers they're going to bring in between now and the start of camp. The vast majority of those need to be on the defensive side of the ball and safety and inside linebacker, because another thing we saw today, Brian, was there were a lot of times where there's 3 inside linebackers on the field at the same time, and right now I don't think they have the depth to pull that off through a whole season.
Yeah, I agree with you. I had the same impressions. I mean, defensively, it was the young corners that stood out. I thought the inside linebackers were okay, but you're right that you can't go through the whole season with the depth they have right now. I think they do need another piece there. That's where it was disappointing that Jack Lamb had to medically retire. He would have had a big role on this team. But I guess we'll stick on the defense for a second. Defensive MVP. I mean, would you go Nico Reed? Who would you go with?
Terrence Lang made a couple nice plays. He batted down a ball. Would have had another sack again if the quarterback was live. I thought he flashed quite a bit out there. The way that they're lined up defensively now, I think it's going to free Terrence Lang up to make a lot of plays this year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought he looked really good. I would probably go, Nico or Joshua Wiggins. I mean, those two guys impressed me quite a bit defensively. Let's go with offense. You mentioned Brendan Lewis, and had some pretty good passes. I mean, he threw a deep ball, a really nice catch by Daniel Arias. They started on the 45-yard line, 44-yard pass down to the 1-yard line. He made a great catch, one of the best catches, honestly, I've ever seen him make. He also kind of touched that pass late in the game. Another nice throws. I thought it was sort of a mixed bag for Brendan. What did you think?
Yeah, it's hard to say. All the guys were saying that it was super vanilla. Day one stuff is the way Brendan Lewis described it. Again, I think he would have been sacked a few times, but he also kind of makes his case, and he made it last year in the spring game, that I'm a pretty strong guy. I'm hard to bring down. So some of those maybe he fights through somebody trying to make an arm sack, So it's hard to say in this setting. I wouldn't say it was a different Brendan Lewis, but again, such a small sample size. He's still a little bit late sometimes to make a decision, which was an issue last year, and so that's still kind of showing itself. Montana Lamonius Craig made a nice sideline catch today, sticking with the offense. I wonder if he knows he can make a simple, easy catch every once in a while. It seems like most of his catches are of the highlight variety out here.
Well, he's going to make a lot of highlights at this university, I think. But you're right. Every time he makes a catch, it's like, well, that goes on the highlight reel. But pretty good young player. I thought for the lack of depth there, receivers really shined today. R.J. Sneed, we didn't see a lot of him, but he made a couple of nice catches as well. Running back wise, not a lot of depth, and they were without Alex Fontenot today, who's dealing with a hamstring. So really didn't have a lot of depth, and so hard to really assess the running backs. I mean, the best looking running back out there was Charlie Offerdahl, and then I thought Jaley Stacks looked pretty good, and Deion Smith didn't do a whole lot. Had some tough runs today. Tackled behind the line of scrimmage a couple times. Anything you can get out of the running backs today?
Well, yeah, these are the days that are made for a Charlie Offerdahl, and it's great to see him go out there and make some plays. Eric Olson is a guy we were anxious to see out here. He made a nice catch short of the sticks along the sideline and just powered through a defender. And even Austin Smith made a nice play downfield as well. So some of the things we were hoping to see today from some of those guys, especially the tight ends, we saw out there. But it's one day, and one day of many here leading up to the season.
Yeah, one last thing, offensive line. There was some rotation at center, first-team center. We've heard about that, but Noah Fensky, Austin Johnson, both took snaps for the first-team offense. The rest of the group was pretty much the same. It was Casey Roddick and Frank Phillip on the right, and then Tommy Brown and Jake Weinland on the left. So I thought the group was okay. as Casey Roddick mentioned, us maybe giving a couple sacks, a couple TFLs, but I thought overall it was okay.
I'll go back and watch the tape and get back to you on the offensive line. One other note to throw in there, Jackson Anderson appears to kind of be possibly that third center now that Carson Lee's not going to be in this program. So we knew Noah Fensky and Austin Johnson were going to factor in there, and it looks like Jackson Anderson as well. And then Casey Roddick could be a kind of an emergency option there as well.
Yeah. So overall, kind of what we expected out of this scrimmage. I mean, we'll still analyze it and look at everything we saw here, but some vanilla stuff, but some good and bad things, and that'll wrap up practice number 7, and we'll be back next week for a few more practices.